Hello and welcome. It is Friday, I believe July 18th, 2025. I'm at Upper Dublin Library in Treasuretown, I believe it is, or Upper Dublin. I'm going to tell a story about what happened to me doing research and getting references or so like that from a book I was working on. It was many years ago, and I was on my third novel. And the first novel was what's called a young adult novel. I couldn't sell it, and then I switched to adult novel, and I didn't know what I was doing. I went to UCLA to try and learn about making movies and things like that. Came back to Philadelphia and said I'm going to go into gangsters, because I read those books. But I had no experience with gangsters. I'm not a gangster. My parents were gangsters. All right. And cops, so I read those cop and robber type of novels. Anyway, I used to work at Temple University, and I go up there and do almost all my writing there in the faculty room or in the student computer room. So I'm driving up to Temple, and I see looking like very pretty young lady walking in the street in a poor section, like a ghetto section. I pull over to the side of the street, and she walks up to the car, and I thought she was a hooker. And I put my window down, and she comes over to the passenger side and asked me what I want. And I said, well, I wanted to talk to you about, can I interview or something like that? And all of a sudden, I'm surrounded by cars, police cars, flashing lights, and it was a sting. And I'm taken out of the car, handcuffed, and I start screaming at the cops about my laptop in there and all my books and my flash drive and stuff like that. And finally, they lock everything up in the trunk and lock my car. But I'm put in the back of a paddy wagon. They open up the door. There's like four other guys sitting inside there, all black guys in their 20s and 30s. And they push me in, and I have to squeeze on this little seat, wooden seat or whatever it was. Whoa, and I said, oh God, I'm gonna get killed. They slammed the door shut. And they take it, and it starts to drive away. And I'm taken to the police station. I thought I was gonna get beat up. But everybody was handcuffed. So one guy, some way or other, he's able to pull a zipper down and starts to pee all on the floor. It was, well, so I thought it was better than getting punched in the mouth or something like that. But I get to the police station, and I think when I'm booked, and and all these guys are hollering, the guys who were arrested with me, that it's a police setup, and they're just trying to get money, and it turned out to be a $20 or $30 fine. And I was given a court date 2 or 3 months. So I leave, drive out to Temple University, and I'm happy. So, oh my God, I got my police experience now. I met the cops and hookers. So cops, well, no robberies, but cops. So wow, so I was happy about that. I go to my club that I work out called the Society Hill Club, and we're playing bridge with our lawyers and doctors, and I tell the story to the people I'm playing with. This woman tells me, oh no, this is not good for you, Joe. You need to go and get this, you have to get a lawyer and get this squashed, because this might come back and hurt you. You're a teacher, you're a college teacher, and you don't want that on your record. You never know. So I did, I got a lawyer. Now prior to that, I wrote the chief of police in Philadelphia and thanking him for the opportunity to sit in the back of a police car. I did what they call a drive along. I did 2 of them. And I told them I was a graduate student doing research into I forgot what, but, and it was okay. And it was interesting. So I had that letter. I brought that letter with me to court, and I showed it to the judge, and he dismissed all charges against me. And my letter, and my lawyer got the whole proceedings squashed, whatever that meant. And then I went back to Temple that day to do, go writing, and I was saying, oh God, I have this experience. And now I remember the guys talking about, so these things are only trying to make money, and I realized these guys were so broke they could never afford $20 or $50 or $100 for a prostitute. And I thought, yeah, what are they doing? Getting low-level things like that. The most interesting thing was the drive-along, because I did 2 of them, sitting in the back and hearing the cops talk, because I was like an 8-hour trip. And sometimes they would take me to these drug sections in Philly, and they would jump out of the car and run after these dealers on the street, like, nickel and dime bag. And I was like, wow, what are they doing? And then I thought, what a sort of a waste. Why didn't you go to the higher level crime? But it was experience and how they talk amongst each other. mean, that's what I was looking for. So I would say, wow, I got my first experience. And it was sort of exciting. And luckily, I got the thing squashed. And I say luckily because now I'm teaching at a college, and all of a sudden around 5 or 10 years ago, now the FBI comes in and has to get an FBI check to be able to work at the college because we have high school students. So I must have a clean record. So wow. So now I realize, ooh, that really helped me. This incident of getting the lawyer and getting it squashed. And anyway, that's my story, and hope you enjoyed it. And by the way, my first book was a teenage novel, what they call YA fiction. Then I switched to adults, and I don't remember the first one, but it was some type of childhood ideas I was trying to work on. And then I decided to switch to what I read, which was, cops and robbers. I read those type of mystery novels. And but I was lacking real life experience until that day. Thank you. Ciao.